Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Combat Craig, and today we're talking about diagnostic codes. In order to establish service connection, you need to have a diagnosis, symptoms, and a nexus. And today we're going to be focusing on the diagnosis and diagnostic codes. You may know how your symptoms affect you on a daily basis, and that's a good start, but you need to have a doctor write a diagnosis and symptoms and a nexus. So it can start with you. Obviously, you could observe your own symptoms. You know, you're the one that gets you to the doctor, but they have to do their part, and they need to break off a diagnostic code. You're going to need an actual diagnostic code associated with your disability and your symptoms or whatever you have going on. I'm making this point because the actual diagnosis is so important. It's one of three pieces you need. And VA doctors have a habit of treating us and even prescribing us medications without even breaking off a diagnosis. I know it's kind of a weird deal, and you just assume like, well, if I'm getting treated for something or something's written down, there's probably a diagnostic code somewhere. Not always the case. Go look. You don't want to surprise yourself with a denial letter because you didn't just go simply look for a diagnostic code. When you go through the VA for a service-connected disability or any treatment if you're over 50%, the visit is typically free of charge. I get it, there's some copays and stuff, but typically it's free of charge. So there is no billing the insurance company like they do in the private world. And I think this might be one of the reasons why a VA doctor can prescribe you medications for a condition, but they won't give you a diagnosis or a diagnostic code. I think billing might have something to do with it. If you know something about this, drop a comment below, but it's just a hunch. The way it works in the private sector is if you have any sort of diagnosis in the private world, you're going to get a diagnostic code, and there's going to be a billing code as well because the doctor needs to get paid. VA doctors can do whatever they want. They don't need to follow the law. I don't even know what they do. They should just quit because they suck at being doctors. That part I do know. So regardless of what's going on here, the reasons why, and wow, this is fucking sucks that they didn't give me a diagnosis, all the emotional part isn't business. Your VA claim is business. So regardless of what's going on, you need a diagnosis. You need to get that, right? So what you need to do is search through your medical records and make sure you have it. Control F on a PC, Command F on a Mac, and download your My Healthy Vet records in PDF format and search through them. Whatever the thing you have, if it's migraines, go look for the diagnostic code. Look for code 8100 or whatever your condition is. Make sure you have a diagnosis and a diagnostic code to go along with it. And you do that by looking. In order to win your claim, you need to meet the criteria. You need this diagnosis to get this rating. Read the criteria, understand what your rating is that you're going for. Well, I deserve a 70% rating for mental health. Perfect. Have you taken a look at the law? Do you understand what deficiencies in most areas of your work and social life means? If you don't, I suggest you get into the law. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Search through your records. Make sure. You make sure. Don't leave it up to the VA. They're going to miss it. They miss lots of stuff. They're sloppy. Again, different day. We can go make the VA a better place to live. Kumbaya, all that bullshit. Right now, we're just trying to win your VA claim for you. Diagnosis, diagnostic code. By searching through your records, this is the easiest way to find out if you have one or if you don't have one. So if you don't have one, ask your doctor, hey man, can you break me off a diagnosis? If that doesn't work, go to a private doctor. The goal here is get a diagnosis, not, VA is very unfair and stingy with the diagnosis. That's not what we're doing. We're not getting a touchy-feely thing. You need the diagnosis. So if a VA doctor won't break it off, private doctor for you. Just get one. The reason they're not giving it to you isn't important. That's not your fight. Your fight is not with the Veterans Health Administration. Your fight is with the Veterans Benefits Administration. Remember that whenever you're locked in with the VA and engaged in the claims process. VHA doctors suck. They do what they do. Your fight's not with them. I mean, if you want to go have a fight, you got a shitload of free time on your hands. That's cool. Your fight is with the Veterans Benefits Administration. You have to prove your disability, period. You prove it with medical evidence. One piece of that is a diagnosis. VA doctors will write down symptoms, and they might even write down the condition you're complaining about, and they might even put it in your problem list. There's a problem list when you go into My Healthy Vet and you download your records. One of the first things that pops up is a problem list. Look at your problem list. Is there a diagnostic code there? An ICD code? Probably won't be a billing code. Is there an ICD code? Is it even in your problem list? If it is, and there is a diagnosis, then Control F, Command F, whatever, search, go find out what doctor put it in there. Did they actually diagnose you, or is it just sitting around in your problem list? I know it sounds ludicrous that you have to go double check their lazy ass work to get a diagnosis. I'm telling you, you build your claim up front. You don't build it as you go along into the appeals process. This stuff could drag on for 7 years. I got my combat PTSD diagnosis 3 years ago. I've had this shit for 27 years at the time, 30 now. I lost my last claim because I didn't have a diagnosis. I had the symptoms. I had the nexus. I didn't have the diagnosis. It's that important. You don't have one of those three things, you're done. The takeaway here that I want you to walk away with is a diagnostic code means a diagnosis. That's the takeaway. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my bootcamp at combatcraig.com. Yeehaw! Links in the description. And if you're thinking about lowering up, you might want to check out hillandpotton.com. See if they can assist you with your appeal or your TDIU claim or whatever VA accredited VA lawyer services you might need. I'll see you in the next video.